anytime you're ready, Dawn, we're ready, I think, right? Efendim? Oh, okay. Ambassador Francis Richardon, it's a pleasure to be with you again
My pleasure.
at the annual conference on U.S.-Turkish relations. This is your second time, am I right, to be present at the ATC Council?
It is. It's my second time. As ambassador, of course, I've attended ATC conferences many times in the past.
And how do you find this one different than the one before, last year's actually?
Well, I think each ATC annual conference catches the spirit of the moment and of the times. It's an exciting moment in Turkish-American relations. There's much positive going on. Of course, there are tensions in the region, and there are issues between us, but we manage the issues in a very mature, I think, and productive way. But there's a great growth in contact between Turks and Americans in all fields. There's great growth in our trade and investment going on. And I think there's a very positive prospect ahead of us.
As you just told us about the tension between the two countries, can we start with that first and then move to the growth? And what do you think is the biggest tension between the two countries, Syria or which one would you consider?
I don't think Syria divides us so much. When I speak of tensions, I mean there are regional tensions that affect all of us, and Turkey and the United States are pretty much on the same side. None of us have easy answers. There's no magic that's going to solve the problems in Syria, that's going to stop the killing. Both Turkey and we want to see the carnage stopped, and then a transition to some kind of better government and state for those people. There's no easy way to get there. So we're working together to increase the pressure on the regime to leave, basically, and set up a transition on the one hand. On the other hand, we're working together to get what aid we can to the Syrian people, whether humanitarian assistance or communications assistance. In our case, we only provide non-lethal aid to non-violent Syrians.
And let's talk about the positive side, right? As many here, we try to build more relations and trade, but is it enough between the two countries? It's only 0.01%. How can we increase it?
Certainly it's not enough. Both sides want to grow the trade and investment between us. President Obama made this clear when he went to Turkey, and then later he went to Cairo in that same year in June to push for growth of American trade and investment throughout the region. But Turkey, as the most successful modern democracy in the region, as the NATO ally of the United States, has a special interest for us. It has special advantages now with a rapidly urbanizing populace and educated populace, prosperous country, well over $10,000 per head, probably $10,500 per head per capita, with huge ambitions to grow that more and become the number 10 economy of the world. We look on Turkey with a special interest as a place where there can be great growth in terms of trade and investment in both directions.
What can the Turkish government and the private sector do in that sense?
I say do what you're doing, only more. And in Turkish, I think you say tanıtma.
Exactly.
Making Turkey known to the world. Americans, when they go to Turkey, are surprised. Americans are not sure what to expect. They don't expect such a prosperous, welcoming country with such educated, interested, friendly people. Americans always remark on that when they come. There are old ideas of who Turks are and what Turkey is. And when Turks come to the United States, many come, if they haven't been here before, with certain anxieties about how they'll be accepted and welcomed. And they find after a few hours in the United States, those anxieties are gone, because Americans, like Turks, are friendly. We're used to diversity. Maybe that's something that makes us like Turks, although we're so different. Turks were an empire, after all, came from many different races, many religions, many colors, many languages, and Turkey is rediscovering and celebrating diversity as an advantage and as a positive thing. For Americans, we all come from somewhere else. You know, we ask about our last names. Oh, where did that come from? Where did your parents or grandparents come from? We think that's normal and natural and a huge advantage. So I'm very optimistic that Turks and Americans have a compatibility, and the more we get together and know each other, meet each other physically, and then later through social media, the more trade and investment we'll have. Airline flights.
That's true.
THY now flies to more and more cities nonstop. Next month, I'll be celebrating United Airlines' first nonstop on July 2nd between Newark and Istanbul. Delta flies nonstops between New York and Istanbul. These things matter. Imagine on each airplane, only 30% of the people are traveling to the other side for the first time. That means in the course of a single week, there are thousands of Americans and Turks meeting each other for the first time. At a certain point, you reach a critical point of takeoff in the relationship, and I think we're getting there.
The November elections, shall we talk about that? The November elections determine the date of this conference because we always have it done in October as opposed to in June. How is the November U.S. elections going to determine the relations between the two countries, either the Democrats or the Republicans were chosen? Can you tell us about the two case scenarios and how is it going to impact Turkey?
Well, I tend to be very optimistic, and as an American, I see our election process as part of what makes us strong. Every 4 years, we have a renewal of our national leadership. In the case of this year, either President Obama will get a fresh mandate from the American people, and it will rejuvenate and strengthen his leadership, and therefore, keep us strengthening the Turkish-American relationship. Or he won't win, and there'll be a new administration that comes in with new people, fresh ideas. They will look around them, if they are new people, and they will see many of the common things that have led us to where we are now. Common interest in growing trade and investment, that's not going to change. The need for a strong democratic ally in a troubled part of the world, that's not going to change. So no matter what happens in November, America is going to renew itself. And that has to be good for a relationship between two dynamic partners.
Thank you so much, Ambassador.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
It was so good seeing you. Thank
Nice
you.
to see you. Thank you.